Polygons are any shape with 3 or more sides. The polygon tool allows you to choose the quantity of sides and the method used to define the shape. Let's jump into SOLIDWORKS and get the polygon tool. So polygon tool is directly below the arc tool. As soon as I turn that tool on, I get an options over here on the left-hand side. First off, I can create this just for construction if I wanted to. How many sides do I want on my shape? And do I want an inscribed or circumscribed circle to define that shape, which we'll cover in a second. And then my XY location of the center point, the diameter of that circle, and the angle. I'm just going to start right here at the origin. Click once, drag it out. Notice I get the diameter of that inscribed circle, and I get the angle that it's going to be built at. So I'm going to drag it right over here. I'm going to drop it. Notice SOLIDWORKS adds a lot of relationships directly to that shape as soon as I create it, but it doesn't define the angle or the size. So if I want to do that, I need to add maybe a center line here or a construction line, and I'm going to snap that endpoint, holding Control to the midpoint of this line, which then defines that shape so it can't spin. Now I can just still make it bigger or smaller. Now I need to define that shape. I can do it 2 ways. One, I can define the size of this circle, or I can just dimension from any one of these points or faces. So I'm just going to define from this side to that side and type in 8.0. Now I've got a fully defined octagon that has all the relationships that are pre-added. Now if I wanted to create that same shape but using just line segments, it's quite a bit of work. I need to make them all the same length. I have to define the angles, or I have to do some type of a patterning feature like they've done here. It's going to be a lot of work. So the polygon feature does save us a lot of time. Let's go ahead and delete that and create a couple more. Jump back into the polygon tool. This time I'm going to try not an 8-sided, but let's do a 6-sided. And this time we're going to do a circumscribed circle. And I'm just going to place it out here. As soon as I place it, notice I still have the control over here on the left. So I can change its XY locations, its diameter, its angle. I have the ability to move all these things around while I'm still in that edit polygon mode. Notice now we have a circumscribed circle. We have the circle on the outside that's defining that shape. So if I now place that circle, I can drag it around the outside, and I can also define that size of that outside circle. Let's type in 8.0, change that around, and I can drag this thing around now. I can spin it around. And if I wanted to place like a relationship, maybe fix that center point, I could spin that around to somewhere I wanted to go, or I could make some dimensions that would define this shape. Just like all things in SOLIDWORKS, we always want to make it not just floating in space. We want to tie it into something. Well, where is it? So I'm going to use that center line. I'm going to come out here and maybe do some rectangular coordinates to that point. So now I have 2 dimensions I can put in there to define how far it is from the center point or the origin and how high above it. Type in a couple of those. And then the last thing we need to do is define its rotation. And so we can do that multiple different ways. And one of the easiest ways would just be like a bottom edge here. I can say this is horizontal. And notice now everything turns black. It's fully defined and knows exactly where it is. I can pull some of these dimensions around just to make it a little bit more clear where we're at. And of course, I can always change any of these things to move that shape around. Now, if I had this shape fully defined and I wanted to actually change that shape, I can click on it, or actually right-click, and I can come down to here to Edit Polygon. As soon as I do that, I actually have the ability to change how many sides are on that shape, change it to a bunch of different things, maybe a triangle this time. Click OK. And now I have a triangle with all the same dimensions, so I can go back and edit and modify those things as needed. The polygon tool is easy to use and saves a lot of time over creating shapes with just the line command. It also allows the user to later edit the polygon without changing and re-adding relationships and or dimensions.